think it's no problem.
I'm running.
Hello. How are you?
Brilliant to see you. Yes.
What's happening?
Very good to see you.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
We're here.
The last month has just been the happiest of my whole life. And just so special. It's like, I don't know why, probably because I finally got to meet him and all the things that happened along the way. It's just like, I mean, even when I saw the Smiths, I didn't think anything could ever beat the Smiths. And like the Kill Uncle tour didn't beat the Smiths, Your Arsenal tour didn't beat the Smiths, but this tour is just like totally blowing the Smiths out.
The set, I suppose it was really a belated Vauxhall tour. So we were all hearing the songs we wanted to hear, and without any shadow of a doubt, just a year late, which, you know, in the event didn't make any great difference. Yeah, I thought the set list was super. The couple of tracks that he did from Your Arsenal were exactly the ones that we wanted to hear. Perhaps he could have chucked in something from the first couple of albums. I don't think that would have necessarily done any harm. But there you go, this is what Morrissey wants to perform. Moon River worked very, very well. National Front Disco as being the, if you like, the centrepiece of the whole show was super. I thought it was extremely well staged, very exciting and kind of thrilling experience. It's the very first time I'd seen that song performed live, so it was, you know, quite awesome the first couple of times that I saw it. I thought the intro tape was very good. It ought not to be forgotten. That was very well chosen, as per usual. And the backdrop, nice photograph and everything. So the whole thing I thought was a real triumph.
I just do it because I really enjoy it. I love seeing all my mates. I love seeing Moors. And it's fun. And there is something terribly romantic about sort of going into one town and then sort of staying there and then going through to the next and things like that.
I would say Morrissey's closer to his fans in a way. I know when you're down the front, he really makes eye contact with people, and he knows who people are. You know, he knows when Darren gets on stage. You know, and gives him a kiss. I thought that was, you know, really nice for Darren especially, but for everyone, it's like, you know, he knows that we're following him around. You know. So I think he has a lot of respect for us, and I think he understands fans. That's the big thing about Morris. He understands the fan star situation, doesn't he? Having, you know, been a music obsessive himself.
Why do you think Morrissey chose you as a support band? How did that come about?
He came to see us in September '94. We were playing in London, a place called the Rock Garden in Covent Garden, which is a place the Smiths used to play 10 years before. And we really liked it. And then a month later we played in Camden in a sort of small pub called the Dublin Castle. It was absolutely packed. And Morrissey was right at the front, which was a bit bizarre at first. And then, he just really liked us and just phoned up Joe the next day. Said, "Do you want to support us?" And we were like, "Oh, not sure." No.
I wonder if Morrissey saw something of himself in you, Jamie, sort of young, I don't know, starting off.
He was singing in the nosebleeds when he was my age, actually.
Right.
So, I think they had two really ugly guitar players as well. Yeah. And a really sexy bass player.
It is fun, isn't it? Going to the concerts, it's exciting and it's fun, and nearly all the people that you meet going, they're nice, aren't they? They're a nice bunch. You don't go away thinking, oh god, and you do. That is a ghastly thing.
You don't know what they do.
Oh Christ!
Not her again. last 3 songs on this tour. Wow, I mean, you do want more, definitely, and that's the way you should leave a concert. Well, you just can't wait for the next one then, you know. Give me my road atlas and point me to the next show.
Wow. Here we are in Edinburgh, outside Usher Hall. Edinburgh is Gaelic for hypothermia.
Motherwell was very good last night. I was emotionally fulfilled by that experience.
Talking very posh.
Motherwell was very good last night. I was very emotionally fulfilled by that experience.
Go blame me, governor. I'll say you were.
Everybody coming over us, you know. It's a bit wild. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed Motherwell. And, you know, it's just everybody turned up for it as well, you know. Of course they would. Of course, you could play, you know, you could play Tuna Fish, Wyoming or whatever, and we'd turn up, we'd be all there, like, hello, you know, hey, great place to have a gig, isn't it? We'll always be there. We'll always bloody be there. It's too late now.
You sit in people's seats and you see them coming and they arrive, this angry glare on their face, and he's just so apologetic. He don't really word of it. You know. It's like, what, your seats? Oh, sorry, I'm not row B, I'm row A.
So you move one ahead?
Yeah. And then chatting to the security man and admiring the tattoos. It's like, you know, the intro tape is just ending. He's saying, my goodness, that's a very fine England tattoo on your arm. And they get all chuffed and show it to you, and then the lights go down. Yeah. This thing, and making very close friends in the front row. You know, going up and having deep conversations with them that you've never seen them before. And then suddenly you're standing on them.
My glasses got more hurt than me, but I've never been really hurt. I mean, bruises, like when you're right up against the stage, you know. When I came back from London last week, I was covered in bruises, like the different size stages every night, you know. It was like, could hardly breathe, but nothing serious. But it could happen, you know. Sometimes it's quite frightening. Not at the time, it's afterwards you think, my God, you know, would I put myself in that situation? If I could step back and see what was going on, would I want to be there? With people sort of clambering over you with their Doc Martens on or whatever, it wouldn't be. I think you get experience, you know. As soon as people start clambering over you, I just cover my head up a bit and that's it, you know.
There's something about it when you've been all pushed and torn and tugged and bitten at the front, and it really hurts. And like you think, oh, I can't stand this, I just can't do it. And then you look up and Moz is there, and it's just like, ooh. Can I go? Yep.
So I enjoyed myself in Edinburgh because I got on stage, which was something I never thought I'd do, so that was quite fun. Which I guess after seeing, I don't know how many, 30 odd probably, I don't know exactly how many shows, 30 something Morrissey shows, then I think you have to have done that because it's a big part of the shows. So that was quite, although I can't remember anything about it, my mind just went completely blank as I was up there. You know. In fact, I thought I'd just kind of patted him on the back, and then a week later some guy, Neil I think his name, said, oh, I've got a picture of you in Edinburgh, and now I am in a sort of bear hug with Morrissey.
When there's a wonderful connection between Morrissey and any one of them, you're so happy in that situation for that person and for Morrissey.
I really enjoyed it. I got on the stage during Moonweaver. I was like rolling towards him, and he was like, come on, are you coming or what?
Bristol, I took his hand and I kissed it, and then he took mine and Morrissey kissed mine, and I was like, oh, cheers, Morrissey. I've done that before.
But he brings that out in people, doesn't he, really? I mean, he's encouraged that, and it's obvious that he likes it, and people just want to get noticed at a concert, and if you can get noticed by giving him some flowers or a present, and if you can get him to look at you, then that's what people want there, really, isn't it? You don't, when you get to this sort of stage in your fan life, you want to be at the front, don't you? And you want him to notice you. It's not enough just to listen to his music. It's not enough just to go along to a concert and stand at the back and just listen. You want to be there at the front, and you want him to notice you. I mean, nothing other than that, really. Just notice is enough, really. It's not like you think you might have a relationship with him or anything, but it's nice to be noticed, isn't it? By someone that you really admire and love.
Morrissey just made it so special for me. Just like, especially Croydon when he sang to me, that was just like, wow.
I've only recently met Libby, to be honest. But when he said that thing at Croydon, I thought it was just hilarious. It really made me laugh. Because that's what he's good for. He's good for just sort of doing the unexpected, if that makes sense.
They're really good. They really are. Yeah. And where was he? He was in Fun, right? Yeah.
It's great concerts. And then there's like Morrissey concerts. And it's just funny because like it's on a totally different level.
Look at it. If that wasn't Morrissey, I think I'd love him just as much anyway.
Yeah. It's obviously a relationship and it's reciprocal.
Oh God, yeah. I'm sure, you know, he loves us like we love him. Well, not to the same degree, obviously. But, you know, he cares about us, definitely. I'm sure he thinks about us all.
In the scooter scene, you get about, so there's about 40,000 in England altogether, you know, and Europe and what have you. But it's just that I'm the only one that's really gone out to sort of like put Morrissey on a bike, you know. Won a load of trophies for it. Won a load of trophies, and there was a big show. There was a big show up in London, in Alexandra Palace, and that's one of the biggest shows of the year. It's a national superbike show, and that had to go up to represent like the scooter fraternity up in Alexandra Palace. I had to leave it up there for a week. You know, that was picked out of one of the top scooters in England. So.
Oh, this is the unveiling.
Underneath there.
Oh, excellent.
That was done a couple of months ago.
Is that what you want Morrissey to autograph?
A bit. Hopefully I want writing going around the side or anything, anywhere.
There you go. That's gorgeous.
On the back wheel there's all New York Dolls engraved around the wheel because of his love for the New York Dolls.
The front there, you said that you were going to change this one right here and out of boxers.
Yeah, I want the boxers picture overlapping there. I've got another picture of Reardon Street where he's walking away from the signpost. I want added on there. I want concert tickets put on there. Plus the whole regalia of stuff I just wanted it laid out in one big mass of stuff.
That's fantastic, isn't it? Did you do it yourself?
No, it's a local fella's done it. I do all the engraving.
Yeah, all the engraving. I'm sure it'd be very impressive. It's alright.
Can you send that jacket for me, please? Oh, you good? Sure.
It's got balls.
It's about 80. Don't want to go a lot past it.
I had this big plan. I got my spreadsheet and clipboard ready. As soon as I heard the tour dates, I was like Mr. Organised. I was sat in front of my TV with the, you know, you get the time on the TV, so you know exactly what the time is. And I was sat there, and I worked out how long it took to dial for the number to start ringing. So dead on 10 o'clock it started ringing, and my plan for Drury Lane worked. I couldn't believe it was so smooth because I've been buying concert tickets, and I got through and he said, which ones do you want? And I said front row, and I bought the 4 best seats, which was wild.
Drury Lane's going to be just a
Are you going to get dressed up?
You'll see what I'm going to wear on the day.
Give us a hint.
It's a
in case we don't have to
waiting for. Bit of a rubber number.
A rubber number.
But you all look great. Those who did, and were a credit to their mammies, as we say in Glasgow. You were definitely a credit to your mothers that night. And in the foyer before it, and everybody, you know, by that time you got to know quite a few people, and you know, there's a terrific kind of buzz around the place. It was lovely.
You look so gorgeous.
And my dodgy jacket, but it looks okay from far away.
No, it's great.
Actually, it looks super.
Looks like Morris is going to get very close to me, even if he wants to.
But the jumper, what's the jumper wearing tonight?
And my jumper's in bed. Needs a rest.
Oh, you got the gloves on too. What's the gloves?
What
Look
about
lovely.
sunglasses? Shades. Oh, the shades.
My dear.
That's great. Okay. That's from
Astoria.
Story. What year? When?
December 92.
Yeah,
December 92.
a long time ago.
Right. Yes.
No idea. I don't know.
Dan, you can't sing.
No, I'm not dancing.
I thought Drury Lane, it was, I mean, I always try and get near the front, but to be front row centre was like a real, and with no photographer's pit, it was like a real thrill to be that close, and it was good because he was singing, when he came out, he sang to Beverly, you know, it was really, he was almost inviting her on stage. I was going, go on, get on.
It's difficult to express. I mean, saying something like that, like, I love your music, you make me laugh. And I've had probably the best months of my life because of you. It's a bit dramatic, but it's really quite true, isn't it? I mean, we've just had a great time. Not just this February, but on all the other tours. It's been some of the best times that I've ever had. And I'm going to cry.
Seriously grown up. Because then I was young and didn't know what I was about. And had, you know, I had no idea about what I was or who I was, and now I am quite sure about. I mean, I used to go to the Morrissey tours, and I would go home and I had nothing when I went home. Things didn't have quite so much meaning. I don't expect Morrissey to understand how much we appreciate the tours, because he is doing them. He is watching the people swimming and killing on one on top of another. But we're having a completely different experience entirely. We're having like almost just like the Church of Morrissey down there, you know. It's it's hilarious.
If you like, I suppose a good way to describe me would be to say that I've never really got into any other artist. So obviously, despite that, you know, obviously these songs must have meant a lot. That's pretty self-evident from the fact that there are no other contemporary artists that I would call myself a fan of. Okay, you hear songs on the radio that you really like, but you don't necessarily go out and buy albums or go to concerts, and certainly not follow tours. And this has always been the way from the word go. The only thing that I was really passionate about was the Smiths and was Morrissey.
I used to like house music, but I mean, obviously it was nothing compared to the Smiths and Morrissey. It was like, you know, they're offering me something here. I'm actually getting something out of it. You know, it's not just empty words that you can just put away when you've done, like, stay with you for like months, years, which they have done.
Each song is something scarily special to sort of set my mind to thinking. Which like with books, and there's books I read, and it's like, God, that's about my life. I've done that. How can he write about that and not me and I've not been able to express it at that time? It's just a little thing. I mean, that's the sort of wisdom of somebody who can write. It's like it's a magical gift, really. When we were compiling the book, this came across with several people that up until then, people with broadly the same experience as myself. Up until then, they'd been hearing about rock bands talking about America and about, you know, motorbikes and, you know, kind of sex and drugs and rock and roll thing, which when you live in a, you know, that kind of lower middle class suburb of Glasgow is not really your range of experience. And and I think the Smiths were the very first band to really write and talk and sing about things which I knew, and that was nice. It was very sort of reaffirming and kind of reassuring in a way that these were my songs.
And just like they were everybody else's songs, it's kind of like saying everybody's grandmother is the best grandmother in the world. Well, they were my songs.
The song called Accept Yourself, that is so funny, that song, because I mean it's the same thing that happened to me, like the bit where he goes, I sat in my room and I drew up a plan, you know, instead of conquering love, he ran, and I thought, God, that's what I did, because I was going to write this bloody book, and you know, and everyone was saying, oh, you know, if you want a boyfriend you've got to go out to clubs and stuff, and you've got to, like, you know, make yourself available, but I thought, no, I don't want to do that, I'm going to write this book instead.
Strange Ways, I love. And The Queen is Dead. But then there's just so many tracks on every album that just make you go, they're just so exciting, aren't they? They're just lovely. And they make me laugh. I mean, reading the lyrics, they're hilarious. And I love him. I think he's lovely. He's lovely to look at. He's shy and coy, isn't he? He's just everything that's nice that you see, everything that's nice about a person. And obviously he's a genius. And obviously, well, when he was, I mean, it was a bit upsetting obviously when the Smiths split up, but Morrissey on his own has just been so ace, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think Morrissey live on his own is much better.
One of the great things about it, it's utterly unique. There is nothing that sounded like it beforehand, and certainly not now, and I don't imagine anybody will ever successfully duplicate it or you know, contrive some kind of derivative from it. It stands absolutely alone, both musically and lyrically, and you know, the sound of his voice and the image and everything is absolutely unique. Perhaps the last, if he's not last of the great British popular artists, he's certainly last of the great unique British popular artists.
Like when you see pictures of him, you can see in his eyes that there's something there, there's intelligence, you know, like a lot of people, you see the pictures and you think, oh, you know, empty, you know, just false, but in there you can see he's having a laugh, and at the same time he's being deadly serious. He sort of like manages to combine the two, and when you read his stuff as well, because I mean, he makes me laugh so much.
Morrissey's the funniest writer alive. He should be on television writing comedy. Which is one thing you find out when you actually meet him properly, the humour he has. It's, I don't know, very, very odd. He just says bits of things, he's like, he's taking the piss out of me. But no, it's quite nice.
Like, there's no one else that has said things that have directly applied to me. So it's just great when I realised that, you know, all that time he'd been saying these things and I hadn't been listening, but once I did listen it was like, great. You know, someone knows what everything's really about. It's not all, you know, happiness and joy, you know, there's bad things as well, but to be able to look at them with humour, it's just like, you know, it was really, really good. And
I see him as having something sensible and meaningful to say, whereas a lot of other artists you just think, oh.
Who cares?
But yeah, who cares what you think about that?
Right.
I suppose I'll probably give more importance to the things that Morrissey says in his songs than I would if somebody else said it, but then I can't imagine anybody else saying the sort of things that he says in his songs.
You know, I never ever thought that I would give up meat, but you know, once I heard that song it was like, there's no way I can ever eat meat again, ever. And like, I've not even been tempted. It was just like, gave it up and that's it. Didn't even think about going back to it because I just couldn't, because it's like what he was saying was so poignant, you know, it was just absolutely brilliant, and it was just, you know, I didn't think anyone could have such an effect on me, but it did, and I'm glad, because it's, you know, I think it's done me a lot of good.
That's the one thing about the Smiths lyrics, things happen that Morrissey has written, and then they happen to me. When you write about something, and then wow, I had done that today. That's my life. I mean, I had a YTS scheme when he wrote Interesting Drug. The government scheme to enter your dreams. It's like, hang on, stop it, Morrissey, give over. He's got me sus twice as a medium or something.
There's some people who, I mean, just fall head over heels in love with maybe a person or a football team or a country or any kind of cultural experience. And I suppose, I mean, Morrissey or popular artists are really like that. It doesn't. It's, you know, it's something which just fits you so very, very perfectly. It's something that's immensely valuable, and I'm really glad that it happened to me.
But if my record collection just consisted of Morrissey and the Smiths, that would be enough to keep me going. And although I do like other music, you know, there's lots, I like loads of other stuff. But if I just had the choice, if it was like Desert Island Discs or something, it would have to be mostly Morrissey.
This is the offices of the True to You Morrissey zine, which is to say a small corner in the back of my bedroom. For the cover of issue 2 of True to You, we started with this photograph made by Winnie Wong at the Philadelphia Inn store, and entitled by Winnie Wong herself, Tea with Morrissey. So those are the options. We okayed them, and there it is. Wow. I mean, everything about creating the zine is really such a pleasure. And the zine it is very much intended as a message to him. To really let him know how very, very interested people are in what he does, and you know, on such a profound level.
Her friend wrote to him and said, you know, she loves you, she thinks you're wonderful, and she'd love to hear from you. And I was in bad form, and it was just really strange. I mean, it took me 3 weeks before I believed it happened. And even after that, it was too good, really. I didn't know how to cope with so much happiness. You know, smiling was the same with him. And it wasn't the kind of thing you'd laugh at.
What did you write on the album?
Well, he sent me Strange Ways, and he had a few, the PETA, the American Animal Liberation Crowd, their stickers on the front and on the back. And so I wrote after them. And the whole process took a while, but I became a vegan that October.
Right.
And that was for 4 years. So that's something he did.
Yeah.
He saved a hell of a lot of animals that way.
You put the PETA stickers on the parcel, right?
Yes, it was a cardboard, brown cardboard envelope, and his writing on the front. But I got loads of letters from people, you know, like Darren, and people who, well, not from him at that time, but people who wrote in Morrissey writing.
Right. Yeah.
So I didn't know until I'd read it about 3 times.
The real thing.
And I was saying, my mum had given it to me. You know, she had picked it up, and I was saying, what idiot is sending me albums? You know, some crazy person. I'm going to be really in their debt from now on.
You didn't know the half of it.
Yeah. And I read it about 3 times. I was saying, you know, Morrissey. I was trying to fit Morrissey into the sentence. It didn't work. You know, and not that it was signed Morrissey. Oh, it was amazing.
So what did it say on it?
So it said, Morrissey to Rosemary. And he drew a little self-portrait in the corner. And it was in orange crayon, you know, with the gold. And he said, this world may lack style, I know, but each bud must blossom and grow. Then, with wishes to you. And 4 kisses.
I think the main thing about Morrissey is, like, you feel so alone a lot of the time. And then, so if you listen to the lyrics, it's like, well, I'm not alone. He understands. He knows what I'm going through.
Comfort, yes. Strengthening, encouragement, succor, support, which makes perfect sense. Morrissey has a way of saying exactly what one needs to hear in those moments when one needs a bit of extra strength.
I still have that warm feeling inside after talking about the album, you know.
Yeah.
Strange Ways.
It's lovely.
It's such an amazing thing to do. I wondered did he realise. Of course I wrote to him and thanked him afterwards. A really nice letter too. You know, when I read it over I don't regret a word of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's still, I couldn't come anywhere near expressing what I felt.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a feeling, it changed the way things were. It changed the course of my life.
Of course.
Yeah. And it's always going to be there. Even if in years to come, he's... Or, you know, I can't imagine anything negative, but just say he isn't singing anymore, and we're all old and have children and all this kind of thing. I still look at it and I believe in human kindness and, you know, charity and understanding and all those things. It's a real symbol that this exists.
people say the same things over and over again. He gave me confidence. He gave me, a reason to go on, and he gave me, so many people say, the happiest times of my life, which is certainly true for me. I mean, just to think of being on the tour and being on the Smiths tour, and all the times at the Inn store, all the times I've been near him, it has been so powerful.
Because it's been 12 years of my life taken away, or enhanced by one man to a degree, which is, unless you're religious, I don't think that would happen.
The memories have been the most valuable thing, So that's why I'm not complaining about how much it's cost when I've had no money and all that, and I've just found it from somewhere, and I'm not complaining about how it's been difficult getting around and cold and all these things. You just cancel them out of your mind because you've got all these beautiful images in your mind of all those gigs. When I die, I want to see every gig I ever went to and every experience, Morrissey related experience, and then die, and flat out. She's dead. It's over.
It'll always be a part of me. And, it always will. It's given me everything. It's given me my friends. It's given me hope. It's given me, I'm just fortified, you know what I mean? I'm fortified, it's better than, a can of Ovaltine, you know what I mean? I'm just fortified. I'm, extremely confident now that something will happen. Something good will happen. You know what I mean? Something good in life will happen to me. I will contribute positively to something or someone. It doesn't matter whether I become famous and you see my lights see my name in the lights. You know what I mean? But I will have contributed, or I will contribute something positive to someone. And it'll be because of him.
If this was the time of Francisco de Goya, I'd probably be following him around, because it's appreciation of people who are extremely creative.
There's so many times when you read something, when I've read something in Oscar Wilde or Dylan Thomas, and just wished, if I could only go back in time and be there and say this, and just express my appreciation to that person for writing that. And with Morrissey, we can.
In every single country there's probably a rosary, and give him a hug anytime you want to. I hope he knows that. I'm sure he does.
What is outtakes now?
This is what I've wanted ever since I had that tattoo. I just wanted him to sign it, and now he's done it.
Morrissey in 20 minutes. It is an unusual surname. I always look out for him.
So he scored a goal.
He did, yeah. He scored a goal for Tranmere, the pride of Merseyside. 1-2 in the end. Morrissey and John Aldridge in 43. So there you go. A man of many talents, eh?
I just only recently noticed that actually Morrissey's quite attractive. I haven't really noticed before, but I think at Portsmouth I thought, oh, he's a bit of alright. Up until then I was completely oblivious. It's like somebody had to hit me over the back of the head with a shovel,
Do you know the pop stars and anagram on passport? Pop stars.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it?
So that was good. Don't have so much to tell Alan like that.
Do you know, Oh, yeah, well, someone should also tell him
Elvis, Levi's, lives, Viles, Evils, you know, but I thought, when that struck me, Elvis and Levi's, I was like, wow, that's cool.
I think the idea of this film, we were meant to look like sophisticated Morrissey fans. With champagne, as if it all was so natural. Au naturel. Oh. Champagne, Emily.
Wait.
Tomas. Hello.